We have Weston next, guided by Steve. Weston, what's your time on this week?
4 6. Yeah,
It's an icebreaker, that's right.
yeah.
Weston is a father of 3.5 amazing children, and married to someone way out of his league. He's living the life of his dreams, working as a wealth advisor with Managewell Financial, and loves the personal development industry. He is giving his first speech, the icebreaker speech today, and it's entitled Agents of Change. Please welcome Weston.
Sam, that was great. Was that not good?
Yeah.
Well structured, well thought. Because I appreciate the opportunity to stand up in front of you today. I don't often stand up in front of people, and I apologize. I'm making a cardinal sin when it comes to speaking, and that's gum. And that is because I'm very dehydrated, and I will get very bad cotton mouth. So I'm going to go through it with that, and I apologize if I do anything weird because of that. But I do want to kind of let you know exactly what my purpose is today in talking about my history, because Sam's, I think, nothing can compare to that kind of history. Nobody quits school at 11 years old and goes and gets a full-time job. Nobody. That was amazing. But what I can say is I did grow up in a similar situation. So my parents were both teachers, had a very bland lifestyle. It's like an unsalted boiled egg. Just nothing really exciting about that. But it was a lifestyle that I didn't realize was bland at the time, because all of my friends that had the money that were going snowboarding every weekend, and I'm from Vernal, Utah, if you know the metropolis out east. I call it the Middle East of Utah, because it is pretty much the Middle East of Utah. It's a desert, lots of oil. It's the Middle East of Utah. But it was a good childhood. I grew up doing things that were just, average run-of-the-mill type childhood activities. We would play baseball, we would play basketball. I just did the sports that everybody could do. And I didn't really realize what I wasn't experiencing in life until I left my childhood and I went on an LDS mission, and I came home and actually started controlling my own life at that point. And so what I realized was, very quickly after graduating from school, the lessons that were taught to me as a youth of this: get good grades in school so that you can go to college, and make sure you get good grades in college so you can go to good grad programs so that you can graduate, and then you can work as an employee for somebody else and make sure that you're fulfilling their dreams for them, so that you can make $80,000 to $120,000 in a pretty decent job, and so that you can retire after 40, 50 years and live a mediocre at best or modest lifestyle for the rest of your life. And so for me, I realized quickly I had no problem with following instruction, but I didn't love the idea that on a daily basis I'd wake up every morning and know that I was going to work to help somebody else accomplish their dreams. And it's not that I don't like helping others accomplish their dreams, but it certainly wasn't helping me accomplish my own. And so what I decided was I was going to make a decision that day that I needed to find something else. And so I had a really good friend of mine who worked in the wealth management industry with Merrill Lynch. Great guy. Many of you may even know the family, the Runyas. Scott Runya is the broker for that company. Fantastic family. He was just a great friend of mine, and I looked at his life on a daily basis, and it was so much better than mine. He was my neighbor, basically, and I saw him at home every day when I came home from work. He was already home playing with the kids in the yard. Every day that I left for work, he was still at home, hanging out with his kids, and he always had a jubilant personality about himself. And so I knew that there was something I could be doing that was a lot better. I could use my personality just to be able to get to know people. I love people. But I knew there was something that I needed to be doing, but I had no idea what it was. And so, unfortunately, a turn of events happened where he, at 32 years old, passed away in the middle of a conference with a boardroom with a group of clients of his. And so he passed away, and it kind of put me in my third-year life crisis. I was only 27, so it's not a midlife crisis if you're 27. So it was a whatever you call that, a third-year life crisis. But that crisis actually set me into a decision-making process that changed my life. I love looking back at this time in my life, because I realized I was resistant to change. And I think it's so common for people today to look at something like that, a major life change, and decide, you know what, I feel comfort, I'm going to stick to my security, I'm going to stay warm and fuzzy, every night I go to bed, I'll know my bills are paid. But I realized I was worth so much more, and I could do so much more. And just like Sam said, I did not like somebody putting a label on my value. And so what I did, I started exploring all sorts of industries. I love software development. I love money. I didn't at the time because I was terrified of it, but I love the idea of money. And so it was just the most random event where I actually ran into the broker of our firm in Walmart looking at deodorant, and I just started picking his brain about the industry. And he's like, you know what, you can just come on down, we'll chat. So we went down and had a great interview with him. And in that moment, I made a decision from there on out, I was committed to this industry. And I went full-time within a year. And I cannot even tell you how much struggle I went through to get to this point as a full-time life insurance and advisor. But I can tell you right now, as agents of change, we have the ability to do so much. But first, we must embrace 3 simple concepts. First, you have to embrace the idea that not only is change something that you should be seeking, but it's a necessity. Staying in your comfort zone will only stagnate life. It puts you in a position where there's no growth. And without growth, we certainly aren't going to become anything other than what we already are. And if you already feel like you're in a perfect position, then you probably should stay comfortable. But if you don't, and you want to grow, change, and be willing to change, and chase change in the positive elements, the second thing we need to embrace is the fact that with change comes discomfort. And because of that discomfort, you need to be willing to drive through the comfort. There's a quote, it's this, the road to success goes through the city dump, straight through the city dump. So when you get to that point, don't pitch a tent. Don't get out of your truck and say, well, this sucks. I'm just gonna sit here and just frustrate myself because I'm sitting in the city dump. We've got to kick it into 4-wheel drive, and we've got to push through. And not sometimes, all the time, if you want to grow, you're going to have to go through discomfort. And the last thing I want to emphasize is the fact that, yes, good for you. You went through these changes, you went through the process to be disciplined, and you focused on developing yourself. But what are you doing now to help others? The first thing you must do is, in fact, set an example by moving through this yourself. But the second thing you must do is be an example to others. So I want to challenge each of you guys today that as you depart, be willing to make a commitment that you're going to be willing to make those sacrifices and changes for yourself. But once you've experienced those changes, be willing to reach out and support those who are in need around you. And be willing to stand as a change agent, become that change agent, be a catalyst in people's lives. Because it makes such a huge difference when you can make a decision to not only change for yourself, but help those around you as well. Thank you.